What has happened at Chelsea? I mean, did you second guess that it was going to be an uphill struggle for Frank going back in there post-Potter?
I think the answer to your question is nothing's happened at Chelsea. It's stayed the same as it was prior to him coming through the door. They weren't winning many games. They probably weren't firing for the sum total of the ability of their squad. And that's probably continued, really, to be honest with you. And
it's been a mess, though, Stuart. It has not gone to plan. Chelsea faced 26 shots in the 2-1 defeat against Brighton at the weekend, their most on record in a Premier League home match. Chelsea managed 8. Todd Bowley getting barracked by some of the individuals above him in the director's box. Next up, Real Madrid, to whom they're trailing from the first leg. I mean, it ain't going well. Lampard knows it's not going well. And Lampard conceded that post-match at the weekend.
I think at the moment, more than defeats is performance we've got to talk about, because the wins only come with performance. And in terms of performance, that was the most disappointing one, because we were well beaten. And, in the basics of football, again, it's a really good Brighton team, so we must give them a lot of credit, because they're a fantastic team and they can perform like that pretty much against anyone in the league. But we were short, a yard short, a tackle short, a fighting duel moment short. And when that's not right, then you're not going to win games, and you have to have the capacity to do that as well as the desire. And at the minute we're falling short on that, and we need to turn that around quickly. So
I mean, the new ownership, Simon's forked out 600 million quid for seemingly nothing.
Well, in the here and now, yeah, but the fact of the matter is this is a marathon, not a sprint. That Chelsea have wasted a season. Todd Bowley's made himself look foolish with certain things that he's said and done. I don't think it's helpful that the owner comes out and says things like you're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0. I don't think that's necessary, and if it's out of context, then maybe the context should be given, but notwithstanding it, I don't think it's wise for him to say. I think they've made decisions. I think the Potter decision was the wrong decision. I think putting Frank Lampard in is a day late and a dollar short, because you should go after the people that you want to fix the problem, not necessarily bring someone in that's already been in there and not done a particularly great job first time
Now,
around.
on that very subject, Simon, reports on Sunday by the Spanish news outlet.
So I saw it, yeah.
You would see claiming that Luis Enrique was ready to take charge earlier this month and was disappointed by Bowley's decision to hand Lampard the manager's job until the end of the season.
Well, I mean, look, there is, and you're going to say no, there's not, and I think he's opened it up for himself. There is an agenda to put Bowley in the spotlight, which he's put himself there. Of course, I understand that.
Yeah.
For the fact he's an idiot American that's spending money like it's going out of fashion, doesn't know what he's doing, wants to put all-star games on, and doesn't really understand the dynamics of football. Got rid of an established football manager on the basis of a whim, and really doesn't know what he's doing. Now, that probably isn't the definitive truth, but some of the outcomes that we're seeing at this moment in time lend itself to that particular argument. I made the point last week, and everybody sat across the table with me saying, well, no, established managers don't come in the middle of the season. They won't want to do that. Why would they want to do that? They want to go into the pre-season. I said, well, why would you not want to get them in? Why wouldn't you have the economic leverage, and wherewithal to say, you, fella, Enrique, I'll tell you what, I'll bring you into my football club, I'll give you whatever you want to come through the door now, and by the way, you can learn everything, you get a pass for this season, you can learn all about these players, and when we get to the middle of the pre-season for next year, you'll have made all the decisions that you want, we won't have to waste any time. And so this is proven to be the case. Or it's a slightly Machiavellian media alighting upon the fact that Todd Bowley doesn't know whether to find his backside with both hands in a funnel, and whatever he does is wrong, i.e. calls out Madrid getting beat 3-0, can't get a manager in mid-season because ultimately the orthodoxy is they won't want to join, but actually they will want to join, gets the wrong guy in because the guy that got looked at Brighton looked like a good project for Brighton but isn't a great project for Chelsea, and on we go.
Right. I mean, Stuart, it does leave you open mouth when you hear also that Luis Enrique, part of the temptation for him, part of the attraction to go for the job now, was he wanted to have a shot at Real Madrid.
I think
he wanted to go in with Chelsea and have a tilt at them.
I think top managers do. Why wouldn't you? You're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You've got a brilliant squad of players, got a very good academy system that are pushing players through. If you're prepared to put them in the team as well. A lot of money's been spent and probably will do in the future. So there's a lot of pluses at
Something
Chelsea.
wrong there, though.
There's something wrong, Simon.
There's something wrong, and it isn't just the owner. The owner's wrong right now.
So what is wrong?
The culture of the players, the attitude they've been allowed to operate in. Now, whether that's that Potter has got a style of management which is inclusive, and this group of players was beyond his communicative skills because he hadn't managed top players at this level.
But these are the same players who pretty much won the Champions League.
Well, hold on, hang on. We can't have the argument he just bought everybody in the world and say it's the same group of players, because it's not. It's a different group of players. There's a whole raft of players that have been brought in. The 600 million quid that's been spent has bought a whole new raft of players, and they have to come with a challenge attached to them, which is either they've been bought. And by the way, whatever he's spent on Fernandes or whoever plays is nobody else's business besides Chelsea's. And if he's overpaid for players, that's his problem. The fact of the matter is the players are either good enough or they're not. What their price tag is relatively incidental. What we've got at this moment in time is a group of players that are performing at a very, very low level. And Frank Lampard is now looking at it going, geez, here's a pup I didn't wish I'd bought. And by the same token, the culture of this football club, what I'm seeing on that pitch is wrong. Now, how has it become wrong? And why is it wrong? Is it because, 9 months ago this club wasn't going to exist? Is that the reason why? Or a new owner's come in and spent inordinate amounts of money? Is that the reason why? Or is it something to do with the way these players have been managed over the last 6 or 7 months and what they've been allowed to drift into and what they've allowed to believe is their ultimate responsibility in representing Chelsea Football Club? But by the same token, Brighton smashed the living daylights out of Tottenham the previous week and were bloody unfortunate to come away with a loss. They've just done the same thing to Chelsea. They are arguably the form team in the division behind Manchester City. Brighton are a bloody good side, so it's not surprising that they gave them a bit of a beating.
But in the normal course of events, you'd expect Chelsea to beat them.
Well, the normal course
That's
of
a fact, at home.
In normal course of events, you'd expect Liverpool not to be 10th in the league or 7th or wherever they are in the league now.
In the normal course of events, you would not expect Chelsea this morning to be 11th. You would not expect Chelsea, under whosoever, Stuart,
Jim, this season I think
to
you
have
would.
lost 12 and 31. You kidding?
The form book turns around and says, why do we underestimate Brighton's opportunity to beat Chelsea, even away from home? Because the form book probably tells you that a draw, maybe, would be the fair result.
From this point onwards, what's the best that Chelsea fans can hope for this season? I know we're running out of time, but I want to get to this. What's the best they can expect, Simon?
And lose a few less games. They're a poor side. They need to run, sprint, and get out of this season as quickly as possible and regroup. There's nothing in this season for them. They're going to get knocked out of the Champions League. They're going to get more indignation over the next 5 or 6 games. The very best they can hope for is maybe finishing 9th.
Ninth's their best finish.
Yeah.
9th's their best finish.
Best finishes.
So Todd Bowley, before this game against Real Madrid, this time, if you're asked for a score prediction, maybe not give one.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.